everybody. Charles here. Welcome to Backroads Living. In this video today, we're going to be talking about things that we need to be stockpiling before a SHTF hits. Now, once something like this happens, too late to go out and get this stuff, or it can be. Most people that have any inkling of what will be going on when something like this happens are going to be rushing the stores. They're going to be rushing the hardware stores, the farmers stores, all these places. They're going to be cleaning them out. And if you don't have this stuff ahead of time, there's a really good chance that you may not get it. So let's talk about that just a second. And I want to show you before we start into the list that I have. I do have a list made out, and I'll have it to where you can download it if you want it. Just send me an email and ask me for it, and I'll give you a link to it. Because it's in my personal files, I'm not going to just post it out on YouTube. But I don't care if you guys having it. It's in my Google Docs, and I'll have to create a link for that. But yeah, I'll get that for you if you want it. But one of the things I wanted to show you is some of the things that's going on with price hikes and some of the smaller Walmarts, and it seems to be the case. It seems to be the smaller Walmarts having the problems rather than the large ones in most cases. So let's hop over here real quick and let's look at something right here in this Walmart. This Walmart is in Stamford, Kentucky. Now, there was a lady sent this, or didn't send it, but she posted it on one of the pages here that I follow. And let me pull this up real quick right here and show you the top of it. Right here it says Walmart in Stamford, Kentucky. I live in a small town and it's getting worse by the day. So right here, we're going to show how that the toys, we talked about that in a video yesterday, that if you're going to be getting toys and you know what your children want, you might want to get them now. And then she goes, after she shows some of the toys, as you can see, these shelves are, some of them are fair, but some of them are really bad, ill stocked. Here's the coolers. You can see a huge gap there in the coolers. And then right here in the stand-up coolers, that entire shelf is empty through there. And here's another set of shelves that's basically empty. And here's the beans. Like that old saying with the Wendy's, where's the beef? Well, you could be asking here, where's the beans and the rice? So the beans and rice are basically missing here. Your paper goods are settling down low. We experience this in our Walmart a lot. Paper goods, buddy, seem to go fast when any inkling of anything happens. Dairy, eggs are down low. There again are toys. Look at the empty pegs there. It's like that in a lot of places. Oxen Farms, if any of you all buy Oxen Farms, maybe you can give me a heads up on this. It's showing cans running from $12.38 to $26.74 for number 10 cans. I looked at those a while back, and I didn't remember them being as high as that. I don't know. But anyway, here's a person that said, I keep an eye on several of these, and it's amazing the increases. The powdered butter months ago was $12 to $16. Now it's $31 or more. So if you guys buy Oxen Farms, let us know what's going on with that. I'd really love to know. Okay, so I appreciate that. But there's a lot of things happening in the country right now and around the world that we need to be prepared for. And I just tell you guys, if we don't get prepared and we get caught with, as the old saying is, with our pants down, we're going to be in trouble. There's a lot of people right now that are naysayers. They're saying we're still conspiracy theorists. And all this stuff that we've been talking about for months on end around the world, we've seen so much of this stuff come to pass that we have been saying was going to happen. It's not. I'm not taking any kudos for this. It's not me. I've been reading articles that other people have been talking about, showing what's been going on and showing the trends that's been happening. And it's just obvious. It should be as obvious as the nose on your face as to what's coming. When all this problem that we're having around the United States with the shipping that we're having, just like the last video I did, we talked about the shipping problems, how that the shipping cost has went from $1,500 a container to $30,000 a container in some instances to get them into the stores. And all those container ships sitting out there in the bay off of California and off of Washington, Tacoma, Washington, all the way out into the ocean past the Bay Bridge. It's just crazy. And every time there's a flare up of COVID anywhere in Asia or any of these, anytime there's a flare up of COVID anywhere in Asia or any of these foreign countries like that we have to import from, it affects our imports. We did a video a while back about the Dollar Tree, how that they had a container ship that had to leave the port empty because of one of the workers in one of the Chinese ports had come down sick, and they just didn't load them. They shut the port down. So these things are going to have a ripple effect and continue to have a ripple effect in our economy. We've had all these devastating fires. We've had all these blizzards. We've had all these heat waves. We've had all this stuff affect the produce throughout the United States, and not just in the United States, but throughout the world in general. And it has had devastating effects. These countries are just shuffling and running and doing everything they can to get extra imports shipped into their countries. And here we say it, we better be getting imports into our pantries. That's what we better be worrying about. We talk about all this stuff and we talk about it over and over and over again, and then we still hear people that haven't done anything. It's time to do stuff. So let's look at some things right here and see about some things that we need to have in our possession should a SHTF, SHTF hit. And it's things that's very doable. I mean, none of this stuff isn't where it's not doable. The first thing is personal hygiene products. I mentioned this before, that we need to be in a position that we can stay clean. Cleanliness, old saying is next to godliness. Well, listen, we can get water out of the creek to wash with if we need to. Carry it and heat it in tubs or whatever it might be. I washed in spring water that was heated on the stove and put in a number 3 wash tub for years and years and years. My whole family washed in that. It can be done. You don't have to go around nasty. There's a difference between being dirty and being nasty. Now, a lot of people, we went for years that when we did baths like that, we didn't take a bath every single night. We took a bath maybe a couple of days a week, and the rest of the time we washed off. We washed ourselves and kept ourselves groomed and cleaned, and you can do that. You don't have to have a shower and a bathtub, but you do need personal hygiene to stay healthy. You can get sick if you don't keep yourself clean. You need water. You need stuff like, it's not a necessity, but toilet paper is handy. We went for years without toilet paper when I was a child. We used Sears and Roebuck catalogs. Diapers for babies. You don't have to have store-bought diapers. You can make your own diapers out of cotton rags or cotton sheets or stuff like that. You can make, you can make baby diapers. Hand sanitizers, you can make your own with alcohol and other products. Ladies, products there, toothbrushes and toothpaste. You can make your own deodorant. You don't have to have store-bought deodorant. And dental floss is a real handy thing for everything from cleaning your teeth to cutting cheese to all kinds of stuff that you can do with dental floss. So keep that in mind. These are just handy things to have, folks. Dry food, we talk about this all the time when we're prepping. Dry foods, beans and rice and beans and rice and pasta. These kind of things are just, I mean, they're irreplaceable. You can't replace these kind of things. You need these things in your pantries. And they'll store for months and months and months on end. If they're vacuum sealed or if they're put up properly, beans will last for years and years and years and years. All this stuff will if it's stored properly in these dry foods. So be sure and get your dry foods in. Have your beans and pastas and rice and sugars and flours and salt and all that kind of stuff, your seasonings, get all that stuff in. If you've got any holes anywhere, get those things filled up. It's not going to get any better. I just posted a link today on our locals channel over there. If you've not been there, hop over there and check it out. And don't forget on this video to give us a thumbs up, like the video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do, and ring that bell icon when it comes up to be notified of our upcoming videos. Now, our locals channel is a different channel. You'll find the link to it in the description box below. And over there, we speak openly about politics and what we think about it. We're allowed to do that over there without any kind of censorship. So if you'd like to kind of follow that, be sure and hop over there and do that. If you can support us, we'd appreciate it over there. But these are things that you need in your pantry. Don't keep putting this stuff off. Water. This is something that is a must. You have to have water. 3 days is it. Without water, you can't survive. You've got to figure out a way. Folks, you have got to figure out a way to have water. If you've got ponds and lakes and streams around you, get water filtration systems, whether it's a large container that filters water or whether it's a personal water device that you can just drink out of a creek or drink out of a glass or something. And then you've got to have your water filters that I just mentioned right there. And you've got to have containers. You need containers for your water. You may have to carry water. You may have to, water's heavy, 8 pounds a gallon. So if you have to carry water, it'd be handy to have a wagon, maybe if you're in a position or a place of level ground that you could pull a wagon or even a baby stroller or things like that, that you could put water jugs in and use that for your wagon. But stainless steel cups, jugs, and tumblers allow you to boil water easily for purification. That's one way to purify your water. And water containers also make it easier to transport water. So that's what I was talking about a minute ago. If you've got big water jugs and you can go to a lake or a pond or a creek or a stream or something like that and gather water and bring it back to your apartment or bring it back to your home, wherever you may live, that would be a great thing to have. The next thing we're going to talk about here is the fire starters. Let me get this pulled up here where we can see it okay. Fire starters. Which includes lighters. We buy those long lighters at the Dollar Tree for $1. We buy the packs of small matches at the Dollar Tree. We buy the large kitchen matches at the Dollar Tree. Ferro rods, the strikers that you can strike. If you were out and caught in an emergency and had to have something like that, you could use that. But you got to have something to light your fires with, whether it be indoors, outdoors, whatever it may be. If you have a situation like that and the grid goes down, you're going to have a way to build a fire, something to build it with. And it would be good to have fire starters. Now, Sandy and I keep our lint out of our dryer, and we put that lint in our toilet paper rolls. The cone of the toilet papers, we fill those with lint, and we've got them all in a plastic bag. And something that you could do with that would make it even better would be to soak them in petroleum jelly, or you could melt candle wax down in those things. You could cut them in half, melt candle wax down in them on either end, and make for a really good fire starter. And there's other ways that people do this if you'll get online and watch to see how people do for fire starters. But anyway, cordage. Now that's your ropes. These cords that you buy, you can buy them that will unravel, and you can use them for fire starters. And they're just, if you're out in a situation that you have a grid down and you have no way to have electricity to build and cut and drill and do all this stuff, cords and that kind of stuff are invaluable. Rope is invaluable in those situations. Fishing line, clotheslines, suspend food and other items if you have to kill your own food like deer and things like that, and you need to leave it up overnight, you can use your cord or rope to suspend it from a tree to get it up off the ground where predators can't get to it and bother it, things like that. Flashlights are a must. You've got to have your flashlights, and you've got to have batteries for them. Get a good stock of batteries, and get some good name brand batteries that's got a really long shelf life on them. Now, we buy a lot of Dollar Tree batteries, and we use them on a everyday basics. Here's what we use Dollar Tree batteries for. But now we've got stuff put back that's got long shelf lives on them, really good brand batteries that if something happens, we've got them to fall back on. A first aid kit, we've talked about that. I've got a video on a first aid kit, things that you need in your first aid kit. And we talked about that the other day, I think. but they're really handy if you have to clean or dress wounds, for small things like that, or infections, whatever it might be, a tourniquet. These are real handy for that. Bandages and stuff like that. You need your first aid kits. Now, in some instances, you might need this, depending on your location and your situation. You might need a two-way radio so that you can communicate with your family that's close by, or your friends that's close by if the grid were to go down and you couldn't get to them. You might need something like that where you could contact somebody to come to you, or you go to them. Now, the next thing here is rechargeable batteries. Those are really handy, but they're only handy if you have a solar system so that you can recharge them with. Okay, so if you're going to do rechargeable batteries, be sure you've got a solar powered recharger to recharge your batteries with. It won't do you any good if you don't have something to recharge your batteries. A portable stove, I would recommend that highly. And I would also recommend that if you don't have a grill of some kind, that you buy a small grill, charcoal grill, something that you could even build a fire in the bottom of if you needed to, with wood, hardwood, to make a fire in to cook off of. That may become invaluable at some point. Of course, you can't take those inside. You have to cook outside on your deck or your patio or wherever it may be in the yard, but at least you can cook on them. And they do make stoves that I think Coleman makes some stoves, and some of these other manufacturers that you can bring indoors and cook with that doesn't produce poisonous fumes. So check on those. You might want to find you a stove that you can bring indoors and cook with. Heavy duty tarps, and these can catch rainwater, drinking water. You can use them for shelter, just all kinds of stuff with a heavy tarp to keep your wood dry. Because if you're in a situation like that, you're going to have some kind of backup heat. You're going to have something to cook with. And wet wood is extremely hard to work with. I just tell you, you have to dry it out before you can burn it. And I've been in that situation and had to do that, and it's not fun. No fun at all. You need something for self-defense. Now, whether it be one of these right here, or a knife, or whatever it might be, you need something for your self-defense. Now, I know that people say that a lot of people I've heard say, well, if we have one of these situations, I really don't see people running in hordes and breaking in people's houses and doing all this stuff and doing all that. But let me explain this to you. If you're a father and you have children in your house that you love dearly and a wife, and you run out of food, you're going to be hunting food. And these people that will be doing that have no morals whatsoever. They'll have no scruples whatsoever. They'll have no concern about the people their house they're coming to. The only thing they're going to care about is getting food for their family. So you may have to defend your food. I'm just telling you. And then there's going to be those who would do this thing for nothing but gain. They would come and take your food so they could swap and sell it to other people, and you need to be able to defend yourselves. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't help people when I said that there'll be people that'll come that'll have children. If you can help people, by all means, I recommend doing that. But there will be people out there that will have cruel hearts, and their intent will be evil, and you'll have to watch for that, because it will happen if there's a grid down situation or a SHTF situation. There will be people out there that will take advantage of you. So you need to have something to defend yourself with, and make sure if it is one of these right here that you've got seeds for it, plenty of seeds. Backpacks, if you're in a situation where you think you may have to bug out. Now, I've said before, Sandy and I are in a place where we don't bug out regardless. No matter what happens, we won't be bugging anywhere. There's a lot of other people in situations like that, but some of you live in places that you may have to bug out if that happens. And if you do, you're going to need a backpack, and you're going to need gear for it. And we've talked about that in other videos. Do a search here on our channel, and you can find for SHTF, and you'll find products for your backpacks. Seeds. These things are going to be priceless. I'm just telling you, you won't be able to buy these anywhere. You'll not be able to find them anywhere, and people will not be very willing to give them up for anything. I mean, they'll be like gold, seeds will, because that's going to be your food. And if you have a grid down in a SHTF, it may be your only source of food. So seeds, keep all your seeds. I'd recommend right now, if you don't have any seeds and you don't have anything to get seeds from, to go to the grocery store, buy you some stuff like peppers, buy you some, I don't know, cantaloupes, buy anything, tomatoes, anything that's got seeds in it, garden seed, and bring them home and dry you some seed and put them back. Some of those seeds will come up. Your pinto beans, you can plant them and grow them right out of your bag. They'll grow. A lot of things like this will grow. You just got to get them out and get them. So research that on how to use seeds like that from the store. Duct tape. Guys, we talked about that before. Duct tape is just invaluable. You can do anything and everything on earth just about it with duct tape. It's I don't even know where to start with duct tape. It has so many uses, indoors, outdoors. It's just one of the most valuable things you'll have in your toolbox is duct tape. It's just a great thing. Now, some people may need a map. I'm not sure. Let's see. I know where we live, we wouldn't need a map, but if you were bugging out and you didn't have GPS on your phone, you might need a map to find your way around so you don't get lost. Candles are invaluable in these situations for lighting and heating in some cases. You can heat with candles. If you use these clay pots, terracotta pots, you can actually make a heater with them. There's a way to do that. If you'll research that online also. Sleeping bags. If there's a grid down, you're not going to have any heat unless you have a secondary heat source in your home. So if there's a grid down, you're going to need sleeping bags to stay warm with. I would even recommend a tent to put in one room and seal off all the other rooms and have just one room that everybody stays in and sleep in a tent with sleeping bags to keep warm and reserve your heat that you can get in there. Cash. Always have small bills. 1s, 5s, 10s. 20s, I guess is okay, but I'd have more of the 1s, 5s, and 10s than anything. Because if there's a grid down, you're not going to have ATMs. You're not going to have people to be able to give you change for big bills. You're going to need small bills to do stuff with, and you're going to need to keep it hid. Don't let people know you've got it. Just if you get your money out to pay for something, only pull out a few bills at a time. Don't let people see a big wad of money and then start counting out of it to pay them. That would not be a good thing. Plastic sheeting, and I would recommend the black plastic. This stuff can be used for window covers to darken out your house at night. If you've got lighting of some kind you don't want people to be able to see in. You want to have privacy at all times in a grid down situation or a SHTF. And you can actually use this to seal off doors. If you have openings in your house that you don't have a door on, you can use plastic to stretch across that and staple it or tack it around the openings to keep air out. So you know, if you do like a tent in one room or something, you need some way to seal these places off. Another thing that I'd recommend highly right here is something we mentioned in one of our videos here about is the vitamins and supplements. Now, we've been talking about this for some time, and I've mentioned it several times in several videos. Next year, June or July, I don't remember which month, the FDA will begin regulating vitamins. And when they do, the price of vitamins are going to skyrocket. And there will be many companies that will go out of business because they cannot afford the extra rigor of testing all these vitamins and the cost of all that. They won't be able to keep up, and they'll go out of business. And there'll be no doubt some vitamins that won't be available after that. So keep that in mind. If you take vitamins and you need vitamins, be stocking up on your vitamins now because they have a long shelf life, and their shelf life lasts 2 or 3, maybe even longer years after the expiration date in most cases. Be sure to check on that. But you do need to stock up on these things if you need them. If you have, let me say this, if you have medications, prescribed medications, and you can stock up ahead on that, if your doctor will write you prescriptions a month or 2, 3 months ahead of time, and you can fill those, by all means, fill those. Bleach is another thing. Now, bleach doesn't have a real long extended shelf life, but it would come in real handy for the first 6 months or so after the SHTF for doing things like disinfecting tools and purifying your drinking water. And be sure and look into that. There are videos that show you how to do all this stuff. Folks, there's videos that show you how to do every bit of this stuff. So keep that in mind, and be sure that if you don't have these things, or if you're short on some of them, be sure to stock up and get extra of these things, because this thing's not going to get any better. It's just not going to get any better. I don't foresee that. Just like Canada right now, I just posted that video over on locals I mentioned earlier, that Alberta is coming under the gun right now with harder lockdowns. And this stuff is just going to keep rolling out and rolling out. We don't know what city here will be next or when it'll be next. So keep that in mind. And that could create a real bad situation for you if you have a lockdown in your city or your county or whatever it might be. But thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like our video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon when it comes up to be notified of new videos when we post them. And as always, don't forget to prep your souls. That's the most important thing you'll ever do. Prep your soul with the Lord Jesus Christ. Prep those pantries. Prep everything you've got right now, folks. We really need to be diligent. We need to be very diligent in what we're doing. So thank you all, and we'll see you in the next video.